All right, what's up, y'all? Exodus One, aka Indigo Sky, aka Trigger Ranking. Basically, we're gonna do like a little update on the Big U, all the ins and outs of the cases and things of that nature. But if y'all don't know, about 10, maybe 11 days ago, I had already put the video out, but I was like everything was alleged. So basically, let's do it.
This is my last video before I turn myself in.
So this is Eugene Henley Jr. He's known for previously managing music artists like the late Nipsey Hussle. He's an entrepreneur, community activist. Pretty much, he wears a lot of different hats. That's why it might come as a huge shocker when the feds named him in a sweeping RICO indictment called Operation Drawdown. I'm Elizabeth Milner with Law and Crime. Now, before we get into this case, I want to tell you about something really exciting at Law and Crime.
So what a lot of people don't know about is it's certain people that got RICO and they got RICO by themselves. I know R. Kelly was definitely one of them. R. Kelly was one of those people that did get RICO by himself. He got a RICO charge. Um, if I'm not mistaken, I think Diddy got a RICO charge, and I don't really think it's no. I think the reason why everything happened with Diddy because basically everybody kind of like flipped on Diddy. So they was like, "We're not gonna go down with you, bro." Like, so I think that's actually what happened. But yeah, y'all, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
We're launching a new channel called Scandal that's dedicated to exposing the dark side of fame, covering all
Oh yeah, this Law and Crime, y'all. Y'all check out Law and Crime. Pretty good channel. They got really extensive breakdowns, and this is one to watch.
the wild crimes in Hollywood and diving into the disturbing rumors floating around celebrity circles. Now, to stay up to date on all the latest celebrity scandals, click the link in the description of this video and subscribe to Scandal today. So back to this story. The indictment against Big U is more than 100 pages long. Now, in their case, the feds say he ran a mafia-like enterprise. He's accused of murder, kidnapping, embezzlement, robbery, and extortion.
All the five deadly sins.
Now, Big U claims he's innocent, but if he's convicted on these charges, he's facing the rest of his life in prison.
I just need y'all prayers. I need y'all. I don't even know what to say.
Big U seemed to be on the right track after an earlier stint in prison. He turned himself into a community activist, specifically an anti-gang activist. He reportedly helped launch Nipsey Hussle's career. He was a music exec, so it seems like he was doing a lot of good. But according to the feds, while he was playing the role of community peacemaker, really he was an active gang member for the 60s Crips. And not just an active gang member, he ran it. So the investigation was years in the making. According to his complaint, back in 2021, an FBI task force launched their investigation into his alleged criminal enterprise and its association with the Rolling 60s Crips. The feds claim Big U's association with the gang has been ongoing since the 80s, where he earned the reputation of being an enforcer. But here's the thing, they claim Big U ran his enterprise separately from the Rolling 60s. For example, the indictment says Big U's enterprise purported control of Los Angeles. Individuals, including professional athletes, musicians, and others who came there for business, were required to
check in. Y'all know what check in means.
Check in. So what does that mean? Well, according to the feds, the check-in included payment to the Big U enterprise, as well as requesting permission from Big U himself to conduct certain activities, including acts of violence that were sanctioned by the Big U enterprise. The indictment even points to an appearance Big U made on the Nothing is Something podcast where he stated if you choose not to check in, you suffer the consequences. Another example the indictment points to is the attempted murder of rapper Quando Rondo. You know, the alleged murder for hire plot that has rapper Lil Durk locked up now. According to
so they're saying all this is like a correlation of everything. So he had something to do with Quando Rondo getting Lil Pop homeboy getting knocked down. So yeah.
Quando Rondo didn't check in, and as a result, his cousin was killed. Federal agents allege while Big U's enterprise has a history and reputation to control LA through violence, fear, and intimidation, Big U simultaneously attempted to create an air of legitimacy. How? By promoting himself as a reformed gang member who focused on bettering his community through his nonprofit like Developing Options. And it appears Big U was doing good.
So y'all gonna hear Developing Options a lot of time in this video. Basically, Developing Options is the actual nonprofit organization that he ran, that he was over, that was supposed to help kids and families, and he had a little sports team connected to it too. The I forget the name of the sport. They're probably gonna say it in this video.
His community. It began in 2004, and essentially the organization had a mission to decrease gang activity and empower the kids that lived in LA. But here's a big problem. Federal agents allege he embezzled money meant as a charitable donation and used the nonprofit.
So they saying, people, if y'all got nonprofit organizations out here, make sure that you structure the money right so they won't come after you. Because if you got a nonprofit and you taking all the money and just living big off of it and just taking a little bit of it and giving it, I think nonprofit, if they give you $100,000 in a donation, I think you could keep 30 for yourself as far as a nonprofit. But that other 70 has to be going out to the actual nonprofit that you're over.
Entities to fraudulently apply for government assistance and loans. So I gotta mention here, obviously when you're accused of running an enterprise, you probably can't do it alone. Big U isn't the only defendant in this indictment. The feds named Sylvester Robinson, aka Vay, Mark Martin, aka Bearclaw, who according to the Developing Options website is the vice president of the organization. The indictment also names Tremaine Williams, aka Loose Cannon, Armani Appledge, aka Monty, Frederick Blatton Jr., and Tiffany Hines. So Big U, Vay, and Bearclaw are accused of RICO conspiracy. Loose Cannon is accused of interference with commerce by robbery. Armani Appledge.
So, Loose Cannon. See, like a lot of this stuff, bro, it comes about because people talking too much, bro. They get on Adam 22 and all these other little podcasts or whatever, and they tell everything, bro. And the police watching this stuff, man. That's just like when Sauce Walker done had went back to Memphis this weekend, and they showing all the money, and they got the money all in their arm like that, all on Instagram, bro. You don't think them people in Memphis hungry, bro? Come on, dog. Let's be real, dog. God damn, bro. You ain't got to show everything on the internet, dog.
Is accused of transportation of an individual in interstate commerce with intent that that individual engage in prostitution. Meanwhile, Frederick Blanton Jr. and Tiffany Hines are accused of bank fraud. The indictment alleges Big U, Vay, Loose Cannon, and Bearclaw committed and arranged robberies to enrich the Big U enterprise. It alleges Big U, Vay...
So basically, I guess if you wasn't checking in, Big U will sick them on you. So Loose Cannon already said that he went and robbed a dispensary, and he said when he robbed the dispensary, Big U come around and tell him, "Hey man, you get him the money back." So I guess Big U went to the people that got with a price on it, with a cost on it. If Loose Cannon gave the 40,000 back, Big U probably would give him 20,000 back and keep 20 for himself.
And Bearclaw extorted individuals in LA for purported protection. It also alleges Big U defrauded various companies, donors, athletes, and celebrities. So another example is Big U is accused of pocketing more than $100,000 in donations to Developing Options.
Damn.
According to the LA Times, in August of 2019, NBA star Draymond Green donated $20,000 to the nonprofit. But Big U allegedly embezzled.
To check in, you gave him 20 G's. Draymond, you can come to LA, you'll be safe. If you don't give us this 20, we're gonna send the wolves for you.
That donation by putting it into his personal checking account. Shaq also donated $20,000 to the organization and the Crenshaw Rams youth sports team, but most of that money also went into Big U's personal account. According to FBI Special Agent Andrew Russa, the LA Mayor's office is supposed to oversee the program, and they should have rejected Developing Options. Now, why would they reject an organization intended to do good? Well, because each contractor needs to pass a lot of requirements, like background checks, training, approval of employees, stuff like that. But according...
Hold on, y'all. I don't have the YouTube.
Getting a degree is important to me because I feel like I'm
Yes,
setting
so
myself
I have
up
a
for
couple
future
commercials I'm
success.
gonna
The
have
more
to
I
sign
can
up
learn
for.
and grow as a person.
employees, stuff like that. But according to Agent Russa, Developing Options failed to do that. He wrote, quote, "Based on my review of documents in the course of this investigation, Developing Options appears to have failed to comply with some or potentially all of those requirements." So that's a lot, right? But Big U is accused of more than just that, like murder and dumping.
In the Bible, it said, much is given, much is required.
a body in the desert. According to the indictment, on January 20th of 2021, a rapper only known as RW recorded a diss record.
Okay.
And who was he dissing? Big U.
Okay, before we get to that part, the RW is Rayshawn Williams. That was Big U's son, best friend, and basically he lived with Big U for a little while. And I know that he was out there with Big U before they found him deceased, and I think they found him in the desert, somewhere in a desert area on the side of the road. So let's listen to what actually happened as far as Rayshawn Williams put out a diss song, and I'm gonna let her.
His use of the studio and representation by Unique Big, referring to Big U as bro that makes some money, and that unnamed rapper may get shot in the face for thinking that his use of the studio and representation by Unique Music is funny. But the track was eerie given what happened next. Just days later, the rapper was shot in the face, but it's unclear if Big U heard the lyrics before the murder. Federal agents allege Big U was the only one with the motive to murder RW. So what exactly happened? Well, according to witnesses, RW was in Vegas, and who else was there? Big U in Vegas. Investigators noted Big U's phone location data and witnesses showed he arrived to Vegas at an Airbnb. On January 24th, 2021, Big U arrived to a studio and RW was there, recording until around midnight. A little after 12:30 a.m., Big U left the studio and his phone stopped reporting his location. About 45 minutes later, surveillance video at the Airbnb showed RW exiting the passenger side of the car and entering the Airbnb. A few minutes later, he left the Airbnb with a suitcase, got back into the car, and left. All of this time, Big U's phone wasn't reporting his data. Likely it was turned off, but then it started again at 2:15 a.m. And here's the thing, RW wasn't seen again. He wasn't even supposed to leave Vegas until the next day, but he never returned to the Airbnb. Instead, his body was found on the side of the road near Interstate 15. Investigators say he died from multiple gunshot wounds. They also noted he wasn't dressed for the weather. Remember, it's late January around this time. DNA collected from around his ankles pointed to RW being dragged into the desert off the highway. Witnesses told detectives an associate of Big U removed the video recording equipment from the studio a few days after the homicide, including video that would have shown RW and Big U at the studio before he was murdered. And there was probable cause to conclude that the footage from the DVR system would have shown an altercation between Big U and RW on the night of January 24th. And it seems Big U...
So it ain't looking good. It's saying that basically after all the stuff happened with the young man losing his life, Big U removed the cameras from the studio that the young man was rapping in or whatever. So it's like, it's just look like, suspicious.
Shut on the rapper's extended family too. The victim's aunt told investigators she confronted Big U about arranging her nephew's trip out to Vegas, which Big U admitted to, according to the indictment. And Big U even called her on a weekly basis prior to the murder, then stopped after the murder. And after she confronted him, she never heard from him again. Again, this was back in 2021. But remember how I mentioned this was a years-long investigation? By 2023, the feds were conducting a wiretap on Big U. He allegedly ordered witnesses not to speak with police about the murder. Like I mentioned, it's a lot. And when the indictment came down, federal agents claimed Big U went on the run. Then he published a series of videos to Instagram swearing by his innocence.
This is my last video before I turn.
So this right here, y'all, this is a lesson to anybody who's in any kind of trouble with the law and you're not in jail yet, they haven't got you yet, even if you're in the interrogation room, ask for a lawyer, bro. Lawyer. First thing you say, lawyer. This man got on a platform and told, basically he messed his whole case up by getting online like this.
Myself in. I'm with my family. Talk to my sons, I talk to everybody, man. I'm saying, we're gonna deal with this fight, see what it is. I just want y'all to know, all this stuff is squad man. Shit was all bullcrap. I just need y'all prayers. I need y'all to, I don't even know what to say. Man, I'm 21 years.
You shouldn't say nothing. You got to be quiet, bro. When the feds come for you, please be quiet. There's only probably two people I know beat the feds. Irv Gotti, he's passed away, and Dr. Sebi, he's passed away. There's only two people I really know beat the feds like that. Dr. Sebi walked out the courtroom with a Bible. He opened up the Bible and said, "Did God not say that I give you seed and herb-bearing plants to cure and heal?" The judge had to say, "Yeah, that's what it say." Because if the judge got "and God we trust" over her head, she has to go by what the Bible says.
Elevated my family, come back, sit in here and write and do what I need to do until I can come back home. People are supposed to help me. I hope you help me. You can't, you don't worry about it. A lot of stuff y'all hearing is straight trash. And I appreciate the love. I appreciate people who've been helping me. I don't know. It's hard helping black people and not being hunted for doing it.
It's not hard helping black people, bro. It's definitely not hard helping black people. It's how you help black people and what you doing on the other side of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got to realize, bro, that like on the other side of things, man, like, yeah, you can't do that, bro. Got to do the right thing.
It's frustrating. It might be to, I don't know if it's to the right or the left.
Reach out to anybody who can help me, y'all.
You hear me?
Help my own family. Appreciate y'all. Go.
And what I'm trying to figure out is you embezzling all this money. You asking for help. You ain't got no money, bro. Like, how y'all spend all the money that y'all supposed to be stealing, bro? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. And all of this is alleged. This man has to have his day in court first. When he get his day in court, and he can prove whatever he got to prove, that's what it is. But at the end of the day, bro, like, bro, you going to jail, you ain't got no money, bro. Them folks talking about you done embezzle all this money, dog. Come on, bro.
I'm looking at this video as I come in to turn myself in, and I'm disheartened by the fact that they trying to say that I stole something from Developing Option, or I used Developing Option as a front. Developing Option paid my bills. They paid my house note. They paid the bills for my family.
Hold on, y'all. I don't got premium.
I'm only saying this once. If you don't go claim your $5,800 after this, you might as well hand in your grant.
The bills for my family, the money I made from as an employee for Developing Option. I never mixed that with nothing. I didn't manipulate nobody. I didn't steal nothing. We did PPP loans. We did 2 loans. And that's it, just like everybody else did. I didn't do no fraud. I didn't give no fake names. And one of them we was paying back and one they forgave. You know what I mean? And the other one we attempted for and they didn't give us nothing for.
You're trying to explain too much, bro. You ain't even made it to a bond hearing yet. And you trying to tell all this shit here, bro. Like,
I filed my taxes and them coming around to when I was using Developing Option as a cover for what? None of that's gonna be true. None of that's gonna be true. The government put this big picture, they gonna arrest 21 dudes, some dudes I don't even talk to. I don't even know nothing about. So how the hell you gonna lump me in with all them? But it's all a big...
How the hell you gonna lump me in with all them? How the hell you gonna lump me in with all of them? Come on, dog.
Picture though. It's all a big picture. Now I'm gonna be sitting in here, it's gonna be years out of my life.
Years out of my life.
Then you going to get dudes who don't even talk to you. What they gonna say? You ruining people's lives. I heard it's over 21 people that's been arrested. It's wrong. It is what it is. Just pray for me. Pray for me, pray for my family. Look at what we did. Look at what I did. I've been home 21 years. It ain't over though. That's what it's not. Blessings.
And he had more to say, comparing his case to Young Thug's, but alleged music manager Wack 100 is working with the feds.
I'm looking at all these charges.
Y'all hear what he say? Whack working with the feds now. Y'all hear what he just said? Whack working with the feds.
On the news, I'm headed back to LA. And then I'm looking at the people they arrested. How you gonna go arrest people that I don't even talk to? That's a built-in liar right there. You know what I mean? So, is that how they gonna work the case? Everybody know I don't pretend. Everybody know I'm a bring back. So if you want to arrest certain dudes, and put them next to me, them are the dudes you gonna have to call themselves turn against me. Well, ain't no turn against me. I ain't going for that. You might as well go get 600 away. These dudes been saying I did all year. So what they doing is they go on the internet and these dudes say that I did shit on the internet. Then when you say I did on the internet, they go investigate. Now you raiding my houses, raiding my shops, raiding all this stuff. And talking about I'm committing crimes and covering up with developing option. What crimes am I committing to cover up with developing option?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, you gotta talk to your lawyer about this kind of stuff, bro. You can't get on camera and just put all this information out, because if you do this like what he did, y'all giving the feds a stronger case, because the feds have basically the angle that you're gonna come from and fight your case. They got that angle, so they know the way to try to, get you locked up, because you already showing your hand. It's almost like you playing tonk and you just show your hand, let everybody see everything you got in your hand. Like,
you know what I'm saying? I ain't committed no crime. They cover nothing with developing option. Crazy. But this how they get you. They get one or two people to say something. Ain't gonna be no real evidence. Ain't gonna be no real nothing. It's gonna be repeated thug. It's gonna be a bunch of people in jail for a bunch of different crimes that don't have nothing to do with me. They fill up all of us up and says all of them are sisters. Watch the sister.
that's why another thing, y'all, it's good to be a solo, like, it's good to be a person within yourself. That's why I never wanted to pledge or nothing when I was in college, because certain people, they wanted me to be a part of an organization, and I was like, nah. It's like, I'm my own individual. I don't want to be classified as, you ain't gonna lump me up. Like what he said, you lump me up with all these other guys. You got lumped up. You know what I'm saying? And when you go to jail, you might get some more lumps.
We just seen it with Doug. I'm finna experience the same thing out here. I knew it was coming. Now they on there saying all the stuff to assassinate my character.
One thing I will say though, y'all, this man didn't say nothing about no murder. He talked about the loans, he talked about this, talked about that, but he ain't said nothing about no murder. That's gonna be something they don't look at too. Like, why you ain't say nothing about the Rayshawn Williams thing?
All right, man, just pray for me. And again, they can do any one of us. It ain't nobody safe. These dudes, if these dudes feel they want you, how they going around talking about somebody's gonna raid my house before my house get raided? How they there with the police? And y'all sitting there following them. Everybody that's a part of them shows, from 100 shows to 100 shows, and y'all need to, everybody who following them, promoting them, anything. Y'all wrong. Y'all ain't black. And y'all showing for our people. They can put charges against anybody.
I ain't got premium,
Need
got
a free
commercials.
loan?
Hold on.
Listen up. If you're on SNAP, Medicaid, SSI, or Section 8, you're eligible for a brand new smart.
So this is gonna probably be my last video. I'm gonna go turn myself in to see what's going on. They talked about I'm a fugitive. So they just raided all my houses. 600 was actually with the police when they raided my house. He's actually got video and footage of it, so y'all know what y'all dealing with. And I just want to say this to y'all. When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about whack, loose cannon, 600.
And Loose Cannon got locked up. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, he put Loose Cannon in the rat category, but Loose Cannon is locked up too. So do y'all think they just locked up Loose Cannon because he's part of the whole program or whatever, and they're gonna let him out and might, put him in protective services just because? Or let's see.
And this internet stuff. All of y'all foul. All y'all who be sending shit around the internet, all y'all who be promoting and listening to what these niggas saying, all y'all giving these likes and hidden likes, all y'all supporting this. All y'all guilty of this. If you have something against a black man, you should handle it with a black man in the streets. Wax said 100 times he was gonna take my contracts. He working with the FBI. The FBI went to the city 3 days in a row and told the city they didn't want nobody to give me no more money. They went to all the different celebrities and told all the different celebrities, don't give me no money, don't help me, don't do nothing for me. They going around scared and intimidating everybody. But y'all sitting it around getting people in trouble. Like y'all don't understand what the FBI do to black men who try to help their community. I ain't been nothing but a help to our community. But
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. There's some organizations out here that's against certain type of freedom fighters and things of that nature. But I don't think that's what this is. I think he got caught up.
I guess it is what it is. This the price of being black and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community and do what you can. You just guilty because somebody else don't like it and they go on the internet and do what they want to and y'all gonna promote it. It's crazy. But I'm going to go turn myself in though. Because I ain't hear nothing. This fact is, man, they done went to my house, kicked my houses in, bust my doors down, bust my window. They called my son at his football practice, threatening him. You know what I mean? These dudes tagging him. What kind of is this? But y'all gonna be rolling with these dudes. Now that's the last thing to say. Wax said he's gonna destroy developing option, right? So who gonna replace developing option? Which one of you in the 60s gonna call yourself coming in? Because whoever try to come in, y'all the ones that's working with Wax. Believe that. So remove me to get me out the way for somebody else to come in who gonna cooperate. That's what the play is. That's what the whole play is. I'm out. I'm gonna send y'all videos to put up all the way until they lock me up.
Now, WAC 100 denied that he was working with the feds. As for Big U, federal agents say he did eventually turn himself in. But by that time, they and Bearclaw were already arrested, and 18 other Rolling 60 Crips and associates were federally charged. Big U was ordered to remain behind bars pending a detention hearing in federal court at the end of the month, and no plea has been entered yet. He's expected to be arraigned on April 8th. There's so many allegations laid out in this indictment. Let's bring on Detective Eric Barnes. Eric, it's always great to see you. Now, I do want to mention to our viewers who don't have involvement in the case, but I got to know, what's your reaction to the indictment against Big U? He's accused of murder, running a mafia-like enterprise, and that's just kind of scratching the surface.
There are so many details to unpack in this indictment. Very well written, very well laid out, and definitely the
Key thing he said, very, very well written out. That means they crossed their I's and they dotted their T's. Well, yeah, y'all know what I mean.
You read the indictment, it definitely gives you a different picture than, what Big U has displayed over social media and across the media networks.
Yeah, and it feels that way too, especially because it seemed like he was doing so much good. Like, he had the youth programs, the food drives, the mentorship. But according to the feds, on the flip side, he was still involved in, a life. What do you make of just kind of this double life that the feds allege that Big U was doing?
Well, it's been seen sometimes that people have a hard time cutting ties with some old friends and maybe even old habits that may drag them back into that lifestyle. Now, what remains to be seen is, how these alleged crimes connect back to other individuals from his community. But I think that there is so many details that you have to. It's definitely worth to look and just to say that maybe there's more going on than what he wanted to admit.
Yeah, and one of the things that kind of stands out in the indictment amongst like other things is just kind of this fear that he allegedly invoked on people in Los Angeles, like requiring people to check in with him for protection.
I don't know if y'all know, but this is a little small hidden fact. If y'all ever watched the movie Friday, the character Debo is based off of Big U. Y'all might not know that, but it's facts. The character Debo, tiny Zeus lesson to play, is based off of Big U.
Or even these relationships that he had with like celebrities, athletes, and rappers, but then at the same time is accused of embezzling their money, including from big names like Draymond Green and Shaq. But what do you make of just him using these relationships to kind of prop himself up, but at the same time kind of pull a double side and just kind of allegedly embezzle from them too?
I think everything is so close knit in the world of entertainment between rap icons and music legends and also sports icons. You hear often that rappers all want to play sports and professional athletes all want to be rappers. So I think it's all one and the same when you look in the entertainment world, because the money that you make gives you access to different types of people. And, some of those individuals, they still have ties to the criminal world. It's going to eventually show itself.
And do you think that he may have pulled the wool over their heads by kind of, acting like their friend, but at the same time allegedly pocketing their money?
The first thing that I thought about when I read the indictment was, they mentioned all these other gang members that he was associated with. And, the entertainment check is not going to be enough to support all of those people. So, if they're going to be part of the entourage, he has to find a way for them to eat. And for what it sounds like, it was criminal activity.
And to, run an alleged RICO enterprise, or what the indictment says, the Big U enterprise, obviously you're going to need a lot of people, and a lot of people that you may have known from the old life, a lot of people that you just feel more comfortable kind of, sharing more details of your life to them. But what do you make of just kind of what the feds are alleging as far as just the organization of this alleged enterprise, and just the fact that, a lot of people are also swept up in this indictment too, not just Big U?
In terms of just sheer power, they always say there's strength in numbers. But I think in terms of committing crimes, that also plays against you. There's more eyes, more ears, and more mouths that are involved in the business of whatever Big U enterprise may be. And now
So he's saying that because there was so many people that was basically, I guess, connected to him in some type of way, that it's a possibility that the word got out of the things that they were doing, was reprehensible. But I don't know, like I said, Big U got to have his day in court. Loose can't, all of them, all of these people who locked up right now, they got to have their day in court. So I'm not going to sit here and, convict the man off of, just because he was charged with a crime. I can't convict him. I'm not a judge. I'm not God. But at the end of the day, everybody has the right to fight their stuff in court. But I do feel like it was outside entities that helped him get lumped in, like he said, lumped into this.
Talk about RICO indictments. That means everybody that's part of the indictment is liable for every single charge that is in that indictment. So if the lower hanging fruit are the guys that had maybe the least amount of criminal culpability, now those guys are in a position where they have to do what's best for themselves.
And speaking of that, when you're having an indictment of this sort, it seems like, the feds are going to need witnesses or cooperating witnesses, What are your thoughts on potential informants that may have been, in that organization potentially?
Anytime that a RICO indictment comes up, you have to have information from the inside at some point, and it could come from different sources. It doesn't necessarily have to be an informant that's mentioned in an indictment. It could be someone that they've dealt with in the past that's renounced the gang lifestyle, but they definitely have to have someone from the inside or someone that was in the inside at one point to kind of give insight into what was really going on.
So basically, what he's saying kind of corroborated what I said. All these different people, and like he said, it could not be one of these people that's arrested with him. It could be somebody that was with them, was cool with them, and just wanted to reject that lifestyle and wanted to I guess go the right way and wanted things to be right and didn't feel like his organization was 100, but yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure, when the feds come knocking and they're asking what happened when and where, and you're facing what could be the rest of your life in prison, I feel like it might be easy to understand why it might have been easy for, witnesses to kind of come forth and explain why this happened or what happened when, to kind of piece together more for investigators. But, I can't emphasize enough how this indictment kind of reads like a TV show or a movie, and there's so many allegations in it. But I want to talk to you about the murder of...
Y'all think 50 gonna do a special on this? 50 might goddamn get the life rights of Big U and do the same thing he did with Big Meech. He might do a series on this.
Big U is accused of murdering him seemingly over a dish track. He allegedly took the body out to the desert, disposed of him, then allegedly threatened witnesses not to talk about the rapper's murder. Now the rapper...
So that part right there, that made Big U look real bad. You're reaching out to people saying, basically don't say nothing about this. That looked bad for Big U. When you reaching out to somebody, because if it was, I don't want to.
Named in the indictment, we only know the initials being RW. But what do you make of just, him? And this was back in 2021. But what do you make just of the allegation of the murder in retaliation for this diss track? That it's just so much that I just can't emphasize enough. It's a lot. But what do you make of it?
Well, murder is one of the predicate offenses that the Department of Justice allows you to use whenever you're indicting someone for RICO. And I think, the murder itself is, the highest charge is the, in terms of most civilian eyesight, it's the worst crime that could be committed. And so when you talk about someone losing their life and inside a structure, inside an organization, and the person that is allegedly responsible for it is the top guy, it just goes as to show that this is why these organizations can't exist. You're basically untouchable within that organization because out of fear, no one else wants to be next. And so I think that with indicting so many people, prosecutors probably get more details on that murder if indeed it did occur.
And do you think that's why it took so long? This murder happened back in 2021. Do you think that's why it took so long for the indictment to come down? It's 2025 now. If they had enough back in 2021 or 2022, even 2023, why not, arrest him for murder and then continue to build the RICO case? Why wait until 2025?
Look, if you're over 45 and can't work because of your health, there's a real easy way to see if you can get up to $3,822 a month and
wait until 2025. Is it just so that way all the ducks were in a row for them to bring these charges against him? Is it because they may have feared he may have fled? What are your thoughts on just why it took so long for them to bring about this murder charge too?
I think definitely with cases like this, because they are complex in the nature, someone that's cooperating today may not be cooperating tomorrow. And then as an investigator, you have to go back and prove the information that you get. You have to go back and corroborate it and make.
But see, the thing about it is, these ain't just no gumshoe detectives. These ain't no detectives that's gonna get you arrested on state charges. This is the feds. This is the FBI. So this is, their conviction rate is like 96%. So
sure that someone's not just telling you something because it's in their benefit today. You have to actually go and find facts to support this information. And I think that when you work with when you're working on dismantling a close-knit organization, people don't want to talk about those things. One, out of fear that they may be involved and may catch a charge involved with it, but also the repercussions that may take place out in the neighborhood.
Yeah, those repercussions, including the check-in, including, there being consequences if you don't check in, if you're believe what the feds are alleging in this allegations, I can understand why, a lot of people may have been fearful of Big U and just what could happen to them as a result of everything. And he's facing a lot of time behind bars now, possibly up to life in prison. But he claims he's innocent. He made those statements in a video as he was turning himself in. What are your thoughts on just, Big U claiming he's innocent, but, this is a lot of allegations, and this is from the federal authorities. What are your thoughts?
I watched the press conference, and it seemed that the assistant United States attorney was very passionate and very convicting, in terms of his beliefs about the indictment. So that would lead me to believe from an outside perspective that they have some very solid evidence, enough that, they're willing to disclose so much. And I was really surprised that Big U went live. I think that at this point, as in most situations, there's nothing he can say across social media that's going to help him fight his case. If anything, I think it gave credence to the fact that, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And I was surprised by that.
Yeah, me too. And then I thought maybe he just wanted to give reassurance to the kids that he had helped, along the way too, to maybe put some ease in their minds as far as, the allegations, because it can be kind of scary to think about, like a mentor that you had that you had thought was doing good for you to come up, have these allegations put against them. Maybe it was a way for him to kind of just kind of save face to the kids that he helped mentor along the way. And speaking of that, what do you think will happen to the programs? Because, again, he seemed to have been doing good for the community. He's been doing good for the kids in LA. But what do you think is going to happen to the programs that he had helped found in light of these allegations?
That's very interesting. I hope for the kids and the families that are involved. The neighborhoods that a lot of these programs take place in are subject to high crime. There's a lot of violence that takes place in the neighborhood. And so their day-to-day lives deal with being victimized just by some factors in society that we're working on fixing. And when someone steps up from the neighborhood to be a part of the solution, it's just kind of disheartening to hear that potentially, the funds that were given to help people in the community to make lives better could have been used for criminal activity, which results in the community being torn back down and taking several steps backwards. So I hope that wasn't the case, but it's just very disheartening to hear that.
Yeah, it's just completely disheartening because, that's what my mind goes to, is just thinking about these kids and hoping that, programs like this can still exist, and hopefully something better will come out of it as well too. Detective Eric Barnes, I always love having you on, and I always appreciate your insight. Thank you so much for being here. Before we sign you off though, what do you think is going to happen to Big U down the line?
I think Big U is going to go through a series of debriefs with his attorney, and also I think that depending on the type of evidence that the U.S. Attorney's Office has, I think this case will move pretty fast. It seemed that there were several law enforcement agencies that were involved in this investigation. There was aspects of money laundering, embezzlement. Also, you have your violent crime, and I believe there were several different types of drugs that were seized in large quantities, firearms. And so I think this case will move pretty fast.
It seems like either way, it's going to be a long road ahead.
That's it. So yeah, man, y'all kicking me in the Karma Cafe. I want y'all to like, subscribe, share, definitely hit notification. I'm definitely gonna be back, and I appreciate y'all for coming in here. Y'all support the channel. Cash App is in the description. I will be back with some more lives and some shorts today. So, hey man, peace. One, God love y'all.